Hi everybody, welcome to week 194 of Skyrim Mods Weekly. We are almost there, guys. We are at like the home stretch. I mean, maybe not quite. I feel like we're more like at the home stretch to the home stretch, right? To the final home stretch. No, I'm just kidding. We are really close though, and I definitely do appreciate everybody that has been watching so far, you know, all the way through the weeks. I don't care if you've watched all of them, but if you've been following me for that long, you know, that is amazing. And I also just want to reiterate the fact that I am mixing older mods with the week's mods, you know, as the weeks wind down or up to 200 and beyond. And there's literally like cops and ambulances surrounding my house and my block right now. Like, I've never seen so many in my life. I'm kind of worried now, so roll the intro. So how many of you guys remember back in the days of Oblivion when you talked to an NPC and the camera kind of just zoomed in, you know, all up in his face for this really personal and intimate and, dare I say, immersive conversation? You could feel the connection. It's like me and the other person are the only ones that exist in the world, and I could just stare deeply into his eyes and just get lost and no homo. Well, that was something that I really liked and I felt was really original to the Elder Scrolls series, and I was really ashamed that it wasn't in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. But wait, what's this? Somebody's made it for Skyrim, and it's called Face-to-Face Conversation, a mod that decreases your field of view when you engage in conversation, creating a zoom effect, and the farther away you are from an NPC, the more it will zoom in. And of course, these values can all be set in the MCM menu. You can also set it how fast you want it to zoom in, and there's also an option to keep it in third person when you engage in third person. Now this all sounds really swell and whatnot, but my issue is that it didn't feel as smooth or as fast as it did in Oblivion. And this mainly stems from the fact that NPCs react much slower in Skyrim than they did in Oblivion. If you remembered, in Oblivion, NPCs will pretty much drop and stop anything they're doing just to turn around and talk to you. I don't know if you've noticed, in Skyrim, you'll talk to an NPC and then she'll like continue walking by you for like 10 steps before she'd be like, "Oh, my bad, didn't see you there." And you're all like, "Bitch, please." NPCs be disrespecting in Skyrim compared to Oblivion. And you're supposed to be the Dragonborn. Also, when it zooms in, it tends to zoom in like the sternum, and like I want it to zoom in on their face. But other than what I just explained there, this is a pretty half-decent attempt at imitating what was once a great feature in Oblivion. From the creator of the Artifacts of Boethia comes another quest mod that allows you to obtain weapons from previous Elder Scrolls games. This one is called Nedhigoth the Butcher, and it begins at the home of Platus Vedius. So this man was unfortunately ambushed by Bosmers. They ran away, hid in a cave, and the Whiterun guards don't want to go in there because they're racist. God, just because they're Bosmer doesn't mean they have to be cannibals. Well, it turns out they're cannibals. So instead of going to like, you know, the temple of Kinnereth and healing himself, he decides to go home, lay on the bed, and then drink weak poisons and suicide. So walk into their lair in a cave and take on the cannibals, who are pretty damn tough. Right, so if you have not been butchered and consumed by the cannibals, I assume you have made it out of the cave alive, and you have in your possession the Helm of Orien Bearclaw, originally the final reward for the Warriors Guild in Oblivion. The Skull Crusher, originally from Marwyn, fortifies your carry weight by 15 points, resulting in 0 weight while equipped, which is pretty awesome. Aingoff's bow, right, a very beefy looking bow that has a chance of paralyzation, and Nedhigoth's right hand and Nedhigoth's left hand, which are two Bosmer bone swords, which when wielded together absorb 25 points of health and can be recharged by killing enemies. Right, not to mention an unenchanted Kukri, I think it's called, and a machete. And with all these armors and weapons on, you're gonna feel like a psychopathic cannibal. By the way, I think you have something in your eye. I think it's fine though. You're good. Don't worry about it. So it's like 7 p.m. right now. You know, it's peak hours, it's rush hour, it's happy hour, but you're really tired and you want to go home. Do you wish that there's a way for all of these people to just get the fuck out of the way? Yeah. Well then, sir, I have the perfect mod for you. This is
12 seconds later.
a mod that allows you to relentlessly and psychopathically murder everybody in the room. Now, just in case it wasn't obvious, please do not do this at home. Don't do this in real life. Or you're gonna look like an idiot trying to Kamehameha. Right? It may not be the fastest way, but it definitely looks like the most painful way for them to go. I'm no psychopath or anything like, right? So the next time somebody starts a fight with you at the bar, you know what to do. So as you may all know, there are only 4 types of home mods in Skyrim. You have the large mansions, the small immersive homes, igloos, and then there's the ones where you're perpetually surrounded by sleuths who occasionally undress and walk into bodies of water. This one, my friends, is definitely the one where you're perpetually surrounded by sleuths who occasionally undress and walk into bodies of water. This is the Underground Bathhouse and Paradise Valley by Andragon, a mod that adds a hidden valley in the fields of Whiterun that cannot physically possibly exist, but who the fuck cares anyways? So in this beautiful valley, there are lots of things to do, like sunbathing. But who the fuck really cares? Let's walk into the bathhouse. Behold, the most aesthetic and the most classy bathhouse you've ever seen in Skyrim. So I'm guessing this place sort of serves as a getaway resort. You know, you've got saunas, you've got pools everywhere, you have guest beds, you know, like a torture room. It's a very interactive player home. You know, you can just about lean on and interact with like the walls, the sink, the areas around the pools, the benches in the sauna, the torture devices. Even the NPCs are highly interactive. You are only allowed 10 NPCs to live with you at a time. But luckily, you can choose exactly who they are. You can talk to any of your followers to have them live there. You can assign them different jobs like being a guard or working the torture chamber. You know, it's all up to you. And you know, if somebody is being a bad girl, you send them to the torture chamber. Plush, you've been a bad girl. A very bad girl. Plush, you were actually a midget the whole time and you weren't even a chick? Holy shit, my life has been flipped upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. So anyways, if you're looking for a great place to relax and torture girls, this is pretty much the perfect option. So Skyrim is supposed to be a land filled with strife and civil war. We hear about the guards at Markarth struggling with the Forsworn, the guards in Whiterun struggling with the bandits. But why is it that we never see these fights ever happen? So this next mod remedies that solution by adding many battles in the form of war zones called War Zones 2012 Civil Unrest. A mod that I might have featured in 2012 but has been remade in 2015, bigger and badder than ever. And these conflicts range from, you know, small skirmishes between a bandit and a guard, or even a troll and a bear, to full-on battles between 2 armies and their generals. The war zones can be absolutely massive, they can be small, but in the end, don't mess with the Stormcloaks because they pretty much kick everybody's asses. And the outcomes can be pretty unpredictable as well. Like, you wouldn't expect the Whiterun guards to fail so horribly at the Halted Stream camp, and all of the conflicts make sense lore and geography wise, right? So in the northernmost regions, you'll most likely find, you know, undead, Draugr, necromancers, and you won't be finding like Whiterun guards in the mix, you know what I'm saying? And it's just really cool, you know, when you're walking through Skyrim and you see one of these battles and it feels so organic, right? Like it's all natural. No, you know what I mean? You know, you can choose to partake in them if you want, or you can just, you know, walk around and be like, yo, that's really fucking immersive. And if you choose to partake, you know, you can loot some new nifty armor off of them because of a new feature called the Warzone Armory, that equips many of these Stormcloaks and Imperials with new armor sets and weapons that are balanced and can even be crafted outside of these battles. The war zones are also dynamic, so depending on where you are along the Civil War quest line and who you sided with, different battles will spawn. And you know, I'm not even sure what's happening here, but goddamn, do the Stormcloaks know how to turn up. This dude's bought all the alcohol, this guy's partying too hard. You know, I don't know the meaning of all this, but it's pretty goddamn immersive. Now again, if you're running a heavily modded game and there are all these huge battles going on, this could have a big hit on your performance. But let me tell you this, there is nothing more immersive than seeing Civil War battles going on in a land strifed with Civil War. So think about that, son, and then consider your options.